The next set of signs that we're going to learn relate to introductions and how to meet people and how to greet people. It makes sense that those are some of the first signs that you learn because those are some of the first conversations you have at the beginning of the day or when you first meet somebody new. So let's get started. First, let's talk about greetings like good morning. So the sign for good looks like this. That looks familiar? It's because good is the same as the sign for thank you. It's a flat hand that starts at your chin and then comes forward. Good. And I know it seems kind of strange that good and thank you are interchangeable, and yet you'd be amazed how often that's appropriate in a conversation. Good. Now the signs for morning, afternoon, and night are all related. In all three of them, we're going to use our weak hand as the horizon. All right? And then in the morning, the sun rises. So the sign is morning. So the sun rises and then it hits its zenith at noon. That's not a vocabulary you need to know. That's just a freebie for you. Noon. And then after that point, the sun starts to set again. So afternoon. So if you have me in an afternoon class, you might say good afternoon. And then after the sun goes down, it sets at night. So in the evening, you would tell somebody good night. Another form of greeting is just to say hello. Hello. It's not a formal military salute, but it is similar. Hello. Some people also spell hi. That's another way to do it. Waving, also acceptable. When you want to introduce yourself, you talk about your name. 8 hands crossed, palm in, and then they tap up and down. So if you wanted to introduce yourself, you would say, so it's a flat hand on your chest, and then name, and then you'd spell it. My name was Sean. That's how that would look. You might wonder where the is went. We don't need a sign for is. In English, we have to have a verb in every sentence. In ASL, we don't. And we'll talk about that some more later. But you just, my name, and then you spell it. Now, if you wanted to ask somebody else's name instead of my name, now we're going to talk about yours. So again, flat hand, but instead of palm in, it's now palm out. Your name goes first, and then that's the topic of my sentence. Then I'm going to comment on it and say, what is it? So the sentence actually goes, and because saying your name what sounds funny, right? You sound like a caveman. Your name what? We don't voice while we sign because the grammar of ASL is significantly different than English. But here's how that question looks again. You might notice while I sign the word what, it's palm in, kind of fingers open, kind of a 5 hand. My hands shake back and forth. And I have a non-manual signal with that one. My eyebrows go down because I'm asking a WH question. What? So here's that sentence again. Another common thing you might ask somebody when you first see them is to ask, how are you? So here's the sign, how. It's kind of a strange handshake. It's like C's, except your thumbs are up. And then your fingertips touch together, and then the whole thing rolls forward. How? So, how are you? You is different than yours, just like me is different than my. Again, we'll talk more about that later, but that's just a little preview for you. So, how are you? Some common answers to that question are fine. Fine. It's a 5 hand. My palm orientation is to the side. The location, my thumb touches my chest. And then the movement, it bounces. This one will need a non-manual signal. So how are you? I'm fine. You're probably going to smile. You're going to look positive because you're having a good day. How are you? Fine. Probably the second most common answer to that question, how are you, is I'm tired. So the sign tired, we have bent hands that are palm in. See, this sign, sometimes it's hard to tell what your palms are doing on a handshake like that. Just open up your hands and then you can see exactly which way your palms go. So it's palms in, touches your chest, and then the whole thing rolls down. Tired. Tired is a negative sign, so it has a downward movement. Tired. Also, your facial expression needs to show that you look tired as well. You can't be like, I'm tired, because that's not appropriate. Your face needs to match your signs. Next, we have happy. Flat hands, palm in at your chest, circles up. Positive emotion, so upward movement. Happy. Again, should have a smile on your face. Happy. Maybe your day's only so-so. That's very similar to the gesture we use in hearing culture. Again, face needs to match. Maybe you're dealing with something in your life and you're feeling a little sad. Sad. Flat hands, palm in, just kind of arc down in front of you. Up, downward movement because it's a negative emotion. The next sign we're going to learn is a compound sign. It's actually two words, two different signs that we put together to show one concept. We do this all the time in English too. But for the word confused, we're going to talk about our thoughts being a mess. So first is the sign think, where you touch your forehead with the one hand, palm in. And then imagine you've got a stack of towels, right? You just folded them out of the dryer. You're taking them to the linen closet. When you trip over the dog, now suddenly there's towels everywhere. My thoughts are a mess. Confused. And I know this would never happen to you at school because it's the most exciting place ever. And learning would never evoke this emotion from you. But just in case, you need to know the sign. Here's the sign, bored. Bored. It's a one hand, starts palm out on the side of your nose. Don't pick your nose, side of your nose, and then it rolls in. Bored. Hopefully, cross your fingers, this won't happen, but inevitably we all get sick. So that's the next one we're going to learn is sick. Take a 5 hand and then put your middle finger forward. This is what we call a feeling handshake. There's a lot of emotions and expressions related to how you feel that use this handshake. So that's why we call it that feeling handshake. 5 with the middle finger forward. Then you're going to palm in, you're going to touch your forehead, and you're going to touch your stomach. Sick. Sometimes it twists in. Sick. So how are you? I'm sick. And this is a question I get a lot, so I want to go ahead and address it just because I know you'll probably ask. Related to sickness, if someone sneezes, what do you do? Well, not every sneeze gets blessed in deaf culture the way it does in hearing culture because you have to be looking at somebody to know that they sneezed. But when that happens, the correct gesture is to say, bless you. It's an H that makes a cross. Bless you. This is going to conclude our lesson for today, but this is not all of the introductions vocabulary we're going to learn yet. There's more to come. I would highly recommend that you practice these signs on your own. Keep learning them, keep using them, actually sign through them with me. There is a separate video where I just show you the signs with the PowerPoint so you see the words and the pictures as well. And so that's a much faster way to go through it. But in this one, I wanted to make sure I explained what the signs look like to you. So, good luck, keep practicing, and happy signing.